Well, things just keep getting better and better out there on the Appalachian Trail. We got more and more trail that gets cleared every week, more that's going to be cleared next week, and that treadway is getting clear and getting hikeable, passable. A lot of great things happening out there. So we're going to talk about that here, and then also we got some check-ins from some 2025 thru hikers that are coming up. They're getting riled up, ready to go, and I'm excited to see them get started. So let's go ahead and get started. So we got Nick. He reports in with his intro hike. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey Ramdino, this is Nick here. I don't have a trail name. I'm hoping to pick that up when I actually get on trail, but I'll be starting my thru hike in February of 2025. I already have a room booked at Amicalola Lodge with my wife, and there will be plenty of tears when I go through the archway on the approach trail at Springer, and she'll have plenty of tears when she is watching me walk away. So you know, that'll be a bittersweet day. But I'd planned a thru hike of the AT about 10 years ago, and because I had student loans, I had to put it on hold and took a full-time teaching position. So finally now in a spot where I can do this, and I'm just giddy about it. So that's all. If you want to follow me, NBC_hikes on YouTube. Hoping to change that after I get a trail name, but we'll see you up trail. Over and out.
And Papa Hikes, he sends us his intro video. Talk to us, Papa.
Hey Ramdino, this is Papa from Papa Hikes. I'll be starting my Appalachian Trail thru hike in mid-February, sharing daily vlogs and trail reports on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm excited to connect with the hiking community and share my journey every step of the way. Thanks for all you do to highlight hikers and keep us motivated.
And then our very own Luscious, who he's going to be like 111 was last year. I believe he's going to be sending in a lot of great updates. I've already seen a lot of improvements in his videos, and he's become a natural. Not only that, he's a natural giver. He's out there giving back to the trail before he even takes from the trail. So he's out there doing trail maintenance work out there. And at the same time, he is also camping out while he's in the area and testing out his gear. So, man, he's got it all wrapped up. Let's just talk to us.
Hello, Ramdino. Luscious here from Boots Off Hostel. Thanks to Jim and crew for putting me up here tonight. I've been doing some more trail maintenance with the Tennessee Eastman Hiking and Canoeing Club. I just know one of these times they'll take me out canoeing, right? For now, it's just been trail maintenance. Made some good progress on Wednesday at the Mountaineer Falls and the Mountaineer Falls shelter area. We were going to go back out on Thursday, but got postponed due to high winds, and so I'll be back out there tomorrow. But I've taken the opportunity the last 3 nights to camp out, and it has been cold. I was camping at Roan Mountain State Park, and got down last night to 14 degrees, 9 degrees Fahrenheit with wind chill, and my gear performed admirably. I did learn a tough lesson on day 2 that I need to sleep with my gas canister and sleep with my water if I want to have hot coffee in the morning instead of iced coffee. Lesson learned. Looking forward to getting back out on the trail tomorrow, and all systems go for a January start out of Amicalola. All right, see you out there. Luscious, out.
So that is awesome. Those 3 right there, they're indicative of what's going on in the 2020 class. I'm excited about seeing who else is out there. And whoever else is out there, you 3 guys, but also other people out there, send me in how things are going for them as you get ready to get prepped. Keep it to about 30 seconds, more or less, if you can. That would be great so that we can feature as many folks as we can. And then also, don't forget, if you're not signed up for 2025 support list, the link's down below. So go sign up for that. And you hiking community out there, we've got over 100 already on that support list. So go and check those out. Now, some of you folks that have signed up, we need your hyperlinks to it, your URL. So you just kind of spelled out what your address is. So if you could go and change that to what your true URL is, so to make it a link, that'd be great. And you should be able to change that on that spreadsheet. If you can't, let me know, and I'll be glad to change it for you. 2024 hikers, we have not forgot about you. There's just so few of you out there. A lot of you got off, but once the hurricane hit and they shut down kind of the section there in Virginia and Tennessee and part of North Carolina, then a lot of folks got off trail. So one, if you got off trail, I'd like to hear from you, so send me a quick video in about that. But if you're still out there, we want to keep cheering you on, so go ahead and get in touch with me. Send me some type of update, whether it's just a written word with maybe a quick selfie or a 30-second video. That works too. So we're excited to help you, cheer you on to the last little bit of your hike for 2024. Registration, so this is the first week, and this is typically when we start featuring new registrations for 25 and giving you out those stats. So I'm not going to do a deep dive this week like I normally do on the historical stats, but we'll get those coming up. So right now, registered voters, That's over and done with, and we're not political here anyway, right? Registered Nobo out there, we got 950 registered Nobo. Flip-floppers, we got 63, and Subo, we got 35. So far we got 1,048 folks that are registered for a thru hike for 2025. Now, some of those have already started. So that registration actually starts, I started in October of 2024 and then carried all the way into September of 2025. And we've already got some folks that have already started out there. So Hot Sloth, he started. Of course, he's off right now, healing up, but he started out there. And I think we've got, I can't remember, there's somebody else out there. Anyway, leave a comment down below if you can help me remember who we've been featuring a little bit here. But anyhow, those folks are out there on the trail. But I did want to share with you one stat, and that is we are already maxed out for March 1st. So maxed out means there's more than 50 people starting their hike, 50 or more. So that's 51 that are starting on March 1st down at either Springer or Amicalola Falls State Park. So what maxed out means, and this is a something that the ATC puts out there, not National Forest Service or anybody else, but the ATC says 50 people starting on any given day is the max trail capacity that it can handle. And I also noticed this year, instead of calling their registration sheets that people register, but then they have their graphical depiction of those registrations, they call that, it used to be called registrations. Now this year they've called it overcrowding. So not everything's overcrowding on there, but there certainly can be some overcrowding. And anyway, we've already maxed out for March 1st, and that is a typical max out day. So there'll be a couple days in March, like March 1st, March 15th, April 1st, the March 30th, or whatever the last day of March is. I can't remember. I don't know the knuckle thing that you're supposed to know there with about figuring out how many days are in a month. But anyway, so we haven't maxed out on everything yet, and we typically don't by this time. And that's a pretty early max out for one day being maxed out. But in any case, we are maxed out for one day, so we'll see how this goes out for the rest of the registrations as they begin to come in here. So here's what a lot of folks are looking for, and particularly you 2025. Been trying to keep all this as current as possible because I know a lot of you are out there planning on it, and that is your 2025, what's going on with the trail. So Saw Crews, they are beginning to cut their way from 421 up to the Virginia state line. So that includes like Shady Valley, Low Gap, McQueen's Gap, Abington Gap Shelter. Some of those areas are already passable now, and you'll see that on my spreadsheet here. So my spreadsheet shows about 7.1 miles of that are impassable of that 20 plus mile section there from 421 to Virginia state line. But those are getting cleared up, and my understanding is that there's a pro crew that's starting at 421 and heading toward the state line. So we had already cleared from Damascus to the state line and a little south of that, beyond that. So that's going to be interesting. And once they put all that to bed, and they feel like it's going to take about 2 to 3 days for them to cut through that. So apparently they've already scouted it out and got a general idea of how bad it is. They're going to flip back to the southern end of Spivey Gap and head toward Irwin. So that'll be awesome to see that section done there. Hey Daisy, how's it going, girl? And then this is awesome here. So the THC's been working on this section for a while now. So the THC, the Tennessee Eastman Hiking and Canoeing Club, and they ain't doing any canoeing right now, folks. It's all about sawing. They was able to punch through there from Walnut Mountain Road, past Mountaineer Falls to Campbell Hollow Road. So that trail is clear, so it's pretty much hikeable now from 19E up to the bitter end, which is Forest Service Road 293. So congratulations. Thanks for the hard work, guys, that y'all have done out there. That is awesome. And then probably several months ago, well, I guess when the hurricane hit, I had a report in from hikers that were actually out in that storm, and they reported in that they were in Moreland Gap Shelter when a tree came down and collapsed the roof on it. They were inside of it. They were not hurt. All right, Daisy, don't be licking me. They were not hurt, but this is a shot of them inside with their backpack there, and it came and they thought it just knocked the front off, but it actually busted the whole roof. So that's got to be replaced. The Moreland Gap Shelter right now is not usable. But my understanding is structurally the cinder blocks, they call them cinder blocks, they're concrete masonry units, but back when it was built, they may have actually been made out of cinder and cement rather than just concrete, but as they are now. But anyway, there was only about a couple of those that were dislodged, so that's not going to take much to fix that. It is going to take a little bit to work on that roof. So as soon as the trail gets cleared, I'm sure the THCC will be working on that. But thanks a lot for those pictures that everybody sent in there. The THCC, that's a mouthful. There got to be a better name for that than I can come up with for that. But their crew did 9 tents this past week in one day, and then they hit Nobo Mile 415, which is right after Moreland Gap Shelter, and holy cow, there's a lot of stuff down in there, so that's going to be a big slowdown. That's going to take them a while to do that. Here's the spreadsheet again. So if you'll notice, I haven't been saving it from one week to the next. I don't think I have. I'll have to go back and look and see if I got a file of that. But in any case, there's less red on it now this week than there was last week. So that is awesome. I'm excited to seeing that be more yellow and green. Now, of course, the yellow and green means it's passable, it's hikeable. That does not mean it is officially opened. So to begin with, the Pisgah National Forest, everybody else's, all the other national forests are open except for Pisgah. They've got sections closed down. So you'll have to pretty much everything trail north of Walnut Mountain Shelter, they've still got shut down. So they've not got that open. So technically it's still closed, but it may be hikeable and passable, and that's all I'm getting across to you. And then up in Mount Rogers now, I told you last week, trail south from Elk Garden to the Tennessee Virginia line has been cut and is open. Well, let me back up. It's cut and passable and hikeable, but it's not necessarily open. So technically the clubs can't close it. The state park or the recreational area, the Mount Rogers recreation area, they can close it. I'm not sure if they've closed it or not, but I do know that the Mount Rogers Appalachian Trail Club, they've got a lot of treadway work to do in there, and they don't want people hiking on it right now. So that's obviously not affecting Nobos. Could be affecting Sobos that are coming down from Virginia there. So not telling you what to do with that information other than just providing you that information. But I did get information that they are, and this is really cool, is that even though the Virginia Creeper Trail was pretty much wiped out from White Top all the way down to Damascus, so they lost 2/3, maybe 3/4 of their trestles that they have there. The trestle that the AT shares with the Creeper Treadway was no damage to it. So that's awesome to hear that. And also, Ann from up there at the Mount Rogers Appalachian Trail Club says that the section that the Creeper Trail shares, the Treadway with the AT, will be open and will be allowed to be hiked on that, even though the Creeper itself is going to be closed. So some of that's going to be a little dicey because some of that trail right now is like 6 feet, 10 feet deep from where it got washed out. But there's only a short section there of the AT that shares the treadway, and they're going to allow people to hike on that. So that is awesome to hear. And so as soon as it'll be all clear as soon as they get done with doing their treadway repair up there and everything. So thanks a lot for that information, Ann. So I've received my first reroute information that there is going to be a reroute, or there's probably going to be a reroute because they're pushing more and more for it right now, and that is from Iron Mountain Gap south to Cherry Gap. So we lost Cherry Gap shelter. It was completely destroyed. Structural, the sleeping platform, the roof, all of that. Hopefully though, that was scheduled to be replaced anyway. So hopefully that will speed things up, and they got to do all these environmental studies before they can replace a shelter or move it somewhere. And so hopefully that will speed that process up, and they're going to get it built back to a different standard, to the newer version of what they got, which would be lofts and everything, and it'll look a lot like the Mountaineer shelter there. So that's got like 3 levels to it. So there's a lot of folks that you could sleep in those. And so I'm excited to see that change that. Even though I don't like change, if something's destroyed and it's got to be rebuilt like a shelter, I'm all for that. Now I don't want to move the trail anywhere else, but it's kind of, maybe that's a duality there. I don't know. You leave a comment if you think it is, but in any case, that eventually is going to have to be rebuilt. So there's going to be a temporary reroute to get around that section there from Iron Mountain Gap down to Cherry Gap. It looks like here on the terrain map that I picked up in the trail, it looks like that section was all south facing. And so that section through there, the south facing slopes of the mountains is what really got nailed. And so that is liable to be just complete wholesale timber down everywhere. I think they told me it was somewhere around 400 trees down between Iron Mountain Gap south to Cherry Gap. So that is a ton of wood on the ground, and those are big logs. That's all hardwood, so oaks and poplars and things like that through there. So that's a mess. It's going to take a while to get people through there, and we only got, 7 weeks roughly till people start, although there's already nobos that have started out there. So we'll see what becomes of that. So the shelters that we've lost or have been significantly damaged that we know of so far, and this doesn't include shelters that were already closed, like the, of course, Over Mountain Shelter, they tore it down, and Watauga Shelter's been gone for a while. But we've got Moreland Gap, which we just talked about. That's got significant damage to it, and it's going to have to be closed or it can be fixed. Cherry Gap was destroyed. Laurel was destroyed by fire earlier. Roan High Knob has been destroyed by rot, and I guess, I don't know, termites got into it or not, but it was in the process of being repaired, as was Laurel Shelter, and unfortunately Helene hit, and now all the efforts are on getting wood out of the trail. Once that gets done, then they will get back on Laurel and the Roan High Knob Shelter. But until then, those are closed as well. And then Vanderbilt Shelter was damaged. Don't have an idea of how bad it was damaged and if it's going to need to be closed. I assume if it was damaged, it will be. But in any case, it was damaged. So that is a lot of stuff in there in the Tennessee section that are damaged. And then, people think, well, I'll just go to a campsite. Well, the campsites are full of wood in a lot of places. The stealth sites and the non-stealth sites are full of wood, and they're not clearing those right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens once they get the trail clear. Do they go to clearing around the shelters? Because right now they're not even clearing around the shelters. They're just getting the Blue Blaze to the shelter cleared. But of course, what about all the campsites around that? So that's going to be interesting. I don't know their order of march or their order of importance of how they're going to do that. And Joe, hopefully, Joe/Cat Herder, that's a trail name I'm giving to Joe Morris. Hopefully he'll get in touch with me and let me know what they're going to be doing there as far as kind of their order of importance and how they're going to be doing that. And then I want to share this with you. So the National Forest Service has spared no expense with their graphic artists here in telling us how to avoid getting hit in the head with a log by walking under a log, or by falling off the trail where the trail's been washed out. So appreciate that wonderful graphical depiction of that. Had no idea that that they were so sophisticated there at the National Forest. So if this is an indication of their sophistication and how much effort they're putting into what's going on out there on the trail, then the wood, the logs across the trail, if it wasn't for the trail maintainers, they'd be rotted before the National Forest Service ever got them out of the way. So I thought that was a crazy thing they put out there, but oh well. No wonder Pisgah's keeping their section closed out there. They don't want to know there's red and green stick people running around out there, let alone Bigfoots, right? Sorry, I just tickled myself. Anyway, if you want to volunteer, and believe me, they need volunteers out there, because the graphical depiction from the Pisgah is any idea of how well they're going to be out there on the trail. We're going to need all the volunteers we can get out there. So the link, I'll leave this link down below, but to volunteer with the Tennessee Eastman Hiking and Canoeing Club and Sawing Club now is Helene. Volunteer at tehcc.org. And so go there if you want to volunteer. Somebody will be in touch with you and give you an idea of where you're going to meet, when the days are open, when they're going to be doing it. Typically it's Tuesday, Thursdays, and the second and fourth Saturday of each month, and they're going to be doing that for probably the foreseeable future. Go hit this over here, go hit these videos over here. Listen to Joe and Cat Herder and I talk about what's going on out there on the trail. Of course, it's a little dated as far as the information, so come to my channel for that. But go look at that video, and it's really good about giving you some other information about trail maintainers and their relationship with the different bureaucracy, the ATC and the National Forest Service they have to deal with. And Joe's a great guy. You need to get to know him. You need to go work for him out there. So go and check those out. And folks, that's all I got this week. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here.